Now, if you guys have one of these, which I'm sure you do, maybe you have all three. I don't know. I don't judge. But I tell you what, that CRT version is going to cost me $20 to get rid of right off the bat in my area. And we also have an LED version. That's right. And for that guy, it's going to cost you $5 to get rid of. Now, this is also going to be an LCD, but it has mercury tubes in the back, and that's going to jump the cost up to $10 to get rid of. So right off the bat, again, if you guys have one or all three of these, it's going to cost you $35 to get rid of at the dump. But I tell you what, we should be able to crack these guys down to their base metals and get some actual value out of them. So as with most electronics, you're going to have some kind of supply cord for the power, and you're also going to have an output for the video. Now with these guys, that comes up to 2.5 pounds, and at $1.10 a pound, that's already going to net you $2.75 for doing absolutely nothing but pulling out a few of these plugs. Now a lot of these plugs are actually going to have some really nice impressive gold inside of them, so you're not going to want to get rid of them. We're going to collect those, and we're going to clip them all off along with the rest of the low grade wire we're going to get out of these guys, and we'll have a total at the end. So we're going to start with the CRT monitor, and it should be a pretty straightforward scrap out. So let's get to it. So I wanted to slow it down and bring you guys in here for the back of the CRT. Basically, you disconnect all the wires and you give this guy a nice little shimmy jimmy, and he should come off pretty easy. You just want to be careful. You really don't want to break it if you can help it. Have your safety glasses on. Now you're going to get a retaining ring right here, and if you guys just take this retaining ring off, it's just like any other hose clamp. It just takes a second to come off. A lot of times they're going to be stainless steel, but if you don't come across a lot of stainless steel in your travels, it really doesn't make sense to put it anywhere else besides your shred steel, unless you want to keep it. Hey, that's your prerogative. Now absolutely at this point in time, you'll take all this stuff off, but a lot of people ask about how to degas the inside of this guy here. Now, so I usually just take a towel, any towel, and you see that nub right there, and I will go and I will take a set of pliers, and if you just gently twist it, you'll hear the vacuum kind of break inside there, and you'll listen to it. And there you go. Now you have safely release the vacuum inside of your CRT. Now you can move on to getting the other stuff off of here. You're just going to want to be careful with the plastic. It will cut your hands if you don't have gloves on, and that's probably definitely a good idea to do along with your safety glasses. But hey, I tell you what, you do you, but we're going to give this guy a little twist without trying to break it so much. But without it being under pressure, it's not as much of a concern now. So you're going to give this yoke right here a good little twist, and it may actually break off. These older ones seem to give you a little bit more trouble, but I tell you what, you can get them off of there pretty easy. So and they just slide up, and that is a beautiful example of a copper yoke. And we're going to crack this particular one open and get a value on there. But if you guys wanted to sell that, you definitely could get probably 90 cents a pound for those guys. So we got the CRT all broken down, and what did we get? Well, keep in mind this guy's going to go to the transfer station for absolutely free. And again, this is ABS plastic. Some areas will actually be able to recycle it. Now, this is going to be our shred steel. Yeah, you're going to see some plastic on there, but I tell you what, if it has base metals, it rides. And coming in at 9 cents a pound, that's $1.5 pounds, going to give you 14 cents. We're also going to have your low grade wire right here. It's $1.5 pounds, and coming in at $1.12 a pound, that's going to be $1.68 in your pocket. We're also going to have a low grade board right here, and those guys will come in at 50 cents a pound, and that's coming in at 4 pounds for $2. Now, would you remove the extruded aluminum? Well, that's up to you, boo-boo. You guys do you. It increases the weight if you're going to sell the board. But what I will remove are these IC chips. Absolutely, these IC chips will have some gold, and they are removable, and I urge you to do so. Now, that other board is going to be a low grade board, but does it have some aluminum on there? Absolutely. You determine if it's valuable enough for you to remove off of your board. Now we're also going to have some brass. We don't come across a lot of brass, but yes, that will add up, and you're looking at 23 cents worth of brass right there. Absolutely, at $2.30 a pound, you don't want to pass it up. Now you have a little bit of stainless steel right here. Again, that's non-magnetic. If you go through enough of them, you collect them up, bring them into your yard, and you talk to them about it. Now we're also going to have the copper number 2. Everybody wants to know about the copper number 2. And right now, copper number 2 is going for $3.16 a pound. That's right, and coming in at a little under a pound and a half, that's going to bring you $3.61 in your pocket. Now, what did we make? Keep in mind, it cost you $20 to get rid of this guy at the dump. But if you run the numbers down, we're going to come out at $7.66 of profit. That's right, it's going to take you a few seconds to drop that off at your local establishment, but I tell you what, it's absolutely worth it. So now let's move on to that LED. Yeah, so we got that all broke down. Let's see how much of that footage actually exists. But I tell you guys what, you're gonna have 1.75 pounds of shred steel coming in at 9 cents a pound. That's gonna put 16 cents in your pocket. Yeah, there's no real low grade wire to speak of. I kept the power cord, and I also kept the connector cord for my own personal use. But you're also gonna have low grade boards right here. They can go in as a medium grade, I'm not sure, but I save up all my boards. Why? Because I keep all the gold from it. But if you're gonna sell those guys, it's gonna come in at a whopping 15 cents in your pocket. Again, there really wasn't very much in there. There's going to be a little gold recovery on the ribbon wires and so on and so forth. But what did we get? Well, it was going to cost us $5 to get rid of. And if you run the lack of numbers down, it gave you 31 cents as a total in your pocket. But hey, you're still going to have some plexiglass. That's a neat little chunk of plexiglass you can find something to do with. And I have a buddy telling me that I have hundreds of these that he is interested in. So we're going to see if there's actually any value inside of those screens or not. But if you're going to pick these guys up for scrap, I would absolutely not do it. And now here's the third monitor. It's an older Dell, and like I said, it's going to have the LCD screen on there. But if it is in fact an LED, you've already blown up the comments by now. But I do believe it's actually going to have some mercury tubes inside of there, and they're a little bugger to deal with. But hey, we're going to crack into this guy and check it out. All right, so we got the guy all cleaned down, and what did we get? Well, first, remember, if there's base metal on the plastic and there's enough of it, it rides for shred steel. And at 9 cents a pound, coming in at 7.25 pounds, that's gonna be 65 cents in your pocket. It ain't nothing. Hey, it does add up. Now, there's not really gonna be much low-grade wire to speak of. It didn't really move the scale, but it eventually will add up if you put it in at the end of the video here. Now, what else did we get? We're gonna get the low-grade boards. Now, these low-grade boards, like I said, I'm not going to send them in. It has a very nice flat pack, a silver crystal oscillator, some more gold-bearing goodies, and such to be had on that guy. And this is a really nice example of a nice, clean fingerboard that you're going to get from a TV. Especially the older style, they're going to have gold fingers all the way down that guy. So you're not going to want to get rid of him, but if you did, you'd be sending all that stuff in at 50 cents a pound. Now, this power board, again, is 50 cents a pound, but if you look on it, it's absolutely going to have its secrets. If you look at those pins are gold plated, and again, there's going to be some more gold plated pins right down there for those. So I would absolutely not get rid of that board for 50 cents a pound, but hey, you guys do you. And now if you look here, some of these switches are actually going to be plated in gold. Yeah, it's very thin, it's Enig gold, but it's there and it exists, and that's why we do this stuff, because I like my gold. And now you're going to have your tactile switches right here, and everybody says they're not worth their time, but if you guys focus right down there on the center, that is absolutely going to be a little bit of plating of gold and a nice little nubby of copper underneath of it for sure, so don't get rid of those guys. There's another little nubby of copper right there. So what are those guys coming in at? Well, they came in at 0.75 pounds, so that's going to get you 38 cents if you want to sell it for that. We didn't have really any brass to speak of or any copper number 2 in this guy, but what we did have, we sure did have one of those mercury tubes right here. Now, for me personally, I have a PVC pipe that I will put that guy in along with some of his friends, and I'll bring it into the proper facilities at a later date. Now, I don't know if some of you are going to be disappointed or not. Let me know. Did you think the CRT was going to win, the LED, or the Mercury backlit LCD? Well, let me know in the comments below. But I tell you what, let's go to the numbers. So right off the bat, remember it was going to cost you a total of $35 to get rid of these guys. But once we broke down the numbers, surprisingly enough, the CRT came out ahead. That's right. It came out at 24.7 times the value of the LED and 7.4 times the LCD version. Now, we still only got $11.80 value in 1 hour's worth of work, but we reduced the cost from a $35 to $0 cost. That's right. So if you guys are going to skip by these, let me know. If you guys are going to continue to pick them up, why don't you tell me why? And for all my subscribers, thanks a lot for making this world go around. To my wife, I love you. And to my kids, go wash your face.